What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Hawk's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at Mastermind Creations Talon, or otherwise known as G1 Predacon Dive Bomb. And right out of the box, I gotta say, he's a beaut, Clark. Feels like typical Mastermind Creations quality. Super sturdy, super solid. Like you could hit somebody over the head with him and cause severe brain damage. Not that that's what you would want to do. He may be my favorite one thus far. He's pretty awesome. Let's talk about accessories real quick. So he comes with the rifle, and the rifle does have some paint on it, which is nice. It's not just it's a metallic paint too, and the stock collapses to form like a sight, so that's very nice. And it's a lot of line work and everything, and they didn't just throw it away with one color plastic. Then we have two knives, which go into the Predacon sword, and we're going to get into that shortly. Not today, but shortly. And then it came with these two extra little guns that he had in the cartoon, and that's pretty cool too. These came in a baggie separate, but pretty awesome. Articulation wise, this head's on a ball joint and it's on a flap that hinges, so you can like actually, you can get some cool shots like with him looking down and stuff if you adjust the flap. And if you've ever taken pictures of figures, you know some of the tricks. And this head, like it's on a ball joint, but the bird beak is on this kind of pivoting hinge, so you can have him in the very G1 look like I do, or you can bring it out a bit, and you can have him like the Mastermind style with like the brimmed hat kind of deal. That's not necessarily for me, but I appreciate that they have the option. I'm going to take this wings off, and we'll talk about those for a bit. So they butterfly out here, and they butterfly out there, and each one of the feathers is articulated. And when you collapse them, they do kind of form into, like it does stop. So I was worried prior to, I was like, man, like, you'll once you mess with them, you'll never be able to get them perfectly straight again. But no, they've engineered it in a way where it does get snug where it's supposed to. So that's nice. And then it hinges here. So very cool. Very cool. As far as the actual bot, we got ratcheted shoulders. We have a ratcheted shoulder here as well. This is like, it's basically a ratcheted universal joint inside of the sleeve, and it's just, I'm a sucker for that. Double jointed elbows, a wrist swivel, as well as this, hinge here for transformation, which is nice. You got a two-click ab crunch, which is cool. And you got a waist swivel at two places. And you got ratcheted universals for hips. You got a thigh swivel, ratcheted knees, and hinged ball joint, typical MMC engineering ankles. So you get tilt and rocker, which is very cool. So there's not much you can't do with this fella. So what do you say we get him transformed? Pretty simple stuff. You just collapse the hands in, like they kind of all do. And I kind of appreciate how like a lot of the engineering is similar across the board. It makes them feel like you're buying stuff from the same team, like they're cohesive. And then these, use the double elbow to collapse these and tab them in. It's a nice tight fit, tight like a tiger. That's an Austin Powers 3 reference for those not in the know. So there you go with that. Pretty good. Next you want to do is the leg bits, and you want to bring these out, and there you go. Open this up as well. And it's just like the other ones. If you have any of the other Masterminds, they all kind of do the same bit of business. Fold these up. There you go. Open that out. Sorry. And then you bring these around, these like thigh bits, and they tab in there. There's a place for them. Swiveled at the hips. bring this up like that. Close them on up. Bring down the feet. Very simple transformation. Simple and enjoyable. And bring the bird flap down. The head actually is a little touch and go. Pull the beak all the way out to give the clearance. Push the head up. It says that it locks, but I don't really see a way to lock it. I guess that's that. It's just when it goes beyond that certain point. And then you can bring the beak down, and you got kind of his head. Take the wings. It's 4 holes, 4 pegs. Tab it in, and there you have him. So, of course, typical Transformer fashion, you can arm him up, and some of it doesn't look stupid, which is nice. So you can put that in there. That tabs in. There's like a slot for it to tab in. And then the rest of this stuff is kind of up to you. We got some swords. Sean Connery. I've just put those there, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know what to do. I haven't really looked at the directions much. So I don't wonder if there's an official. Sorry about that. And then these guns, I think these were here in the cartoon. I could be wrong. They could be over here. Maybe they're here. But you can see, I mean, look how many ports you have. I mean, options are pretty endless. Oh, there we go. So there you have them. Armed to the teeth. I'll probably take the swords off, you know. Same ball joint, and you got the beak articulation there, and it hinges up and down a little bit, so you got that as well. The legs out and in. I keep getting in trouble. The toes are articulated on a hinge, and you know, same waist swivel, same wings bit, and the tail. You get some up and down there, and with the ab crunch, you can, you know, there's a lot you can do. It's just well thought out. It's pretty smart. Pretty smart. Let's do some size comparisons. There he is next to his G1, and as you can see, you know, pretty big difference. Pretty awesome though. And there he is with 2 other Ferrocons, and trust me, when we get into Ferro Rex, we're going to be taking a look at all of them together, but just to give you an idea. There he is next to his G1 in robot mode. There he is next to Swindle, and next to an MP car. So he's a big fella. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not exactly sold on the idea that there is a perfect figure out there. So if I had to nitpick on this guy and pick apart some things that are kind of frustrating, I could have really used some paint on that yellow there, and maybe even on the orange. Like, he really is lacking in the paint department significantly. I think we got some paint apps down here on the black, and then we got some paint apps on the wings, and that's in the face, and that's pretty much it. So I could really use some paint there. When he is in bird mode, due to the weight of his wings, sometimes these little 3 taloned feet, so to speak, have a hard time supporting his weight. The beak in and out transformation wise, like to get the different looks or whatever, isn't as flawless. And I got this messed up here. Not that it matters, but I might leave it back there when it's all said and done, but it's supposed to be here properly. It isn't as flawless as you expect Mastermind stuff to kind of be. You know, it still works fine. It's not a big deal. It's just everything usually is so polished on these figures, and that's one thing that is not. And if I had to get really nitpicky, and I'm talking really nitpicky, just for the sake of reviewing it, the proportions of the thighs look a little long to me. You know, before we actually get to knee, just like he's got a really long thigh, but I'm talking super nitpicky, you know. He's outstanding. So anyway, you know what? Quick timeout. A lot of reviewers have like what I call a go-to line. It's basically what they end up saying so that they can think about what they're going to say next. Everybody's guilty of it, you know, and that's kind of my point here is that, you know, not even reviewers are perfect. And my go-to line, I know, is so anyway. I say it all the time, like, you know, I got the one biggest, longest run-on sentence ever, every review. You should see how many ands I cut out. But if I were you guys, I would do what I do and make up a drinking game for your favorite reviewers. So, like, for instance, Kuma Style is one of my favorite reviewers outside of SCU. He says okay 1,000 times. And so what I do is I have a little shot of vodka every time he says okay. For instance.
Okay. The face just flips up. Okay. There's that. So almost there, to be honest with you. Okay. Now, these you don't have to do any crazy twisting like on Bovis and Fortis. Okay. Open that panel up. Okay. So now if you don't want to put them on the backpack, like Bovis and Fortis, then they just peg. Okay. So then we're just taking legs with the flaps open, put them at the knee, and boom. Okay. Now the feet. I'm a little bit too fast for myself here.
I love this guy.
They're not pegged.
Hey, you ever watch Kuma Style reviews?
Okay. Do that on the front side.
Yeah, TJ.
Through the front. Okay. Bring that forward.
I think I missed one.
There's his elbow. Okay, so now we just take the backpack, peg it back on.
I love you, Ducket.
Seriously, he's one of my favorite figures of the year so far. He's super fun to mess with. I always forget just how simple but fun and enjoyable and sturdy these Mastermind products are until I hold them again, until I get a new one, and then I'm reminded. And this one's no different. He's awesome. He's spectacular. He's probably my favorite of the Feralcons so far. I really can't express it enough. He's a great figure. The only significant drawbacks really are the lack of paint. Everything else can be overlooked with minimal effort. Highly recommend them. If you went with another Predacon set, I'm not exactly sure why, but you might want to rethink it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.